A very good morning to one and all present here, and thank you all for joining us in this ManageEngine's Endpoint Management and Security Solutions webinar. Before we proceed into the session, let me make sure that you're able to view my slide deck and also hear my voice clearly. You can always provide your confirmation by posting a yes or a thumbs up in the chat box. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Please do post yes if you're able to hear my voice clearly and also view my slide deck. Looks like we received some confirmations. So let me proceed and introduce you all into today's session, which is managing and securing modern endpoints in hybrid work environments. Before we move on into the topic, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Nisha Balaji. I'm a product marketing specialist associated with ManageEngine's Endpoint Management and Security suite of solutions. Now, during the course of this webinar, in case you have any queries or questions related to the session or regarding the product, you can always post your questions in the questions section or in the chat box. In case you have any issues audio issues or you're not able to view my slide deck, you can also raise your concerns in the chat box. Again, with respect to any queries regarding this presentation, you can always reach out to me via email at nisha.b at manageengine.com. Let me now walk you all quickly through the agenda that I've planned for today's session. First up, we will be taking a brief look into the recent IT management and security trends that are happening across the globe. Then, we will have a brief intro on the compliances, regulations, and mandates which are specified in the market. Then, we'll be seeing steps on how to adapt to the current dynamic work environment, which means balancing both your remote offices, your remote work culture, and those devices who are back to your organization's network. Then I'll also give you a few pointers on how you can thwart and combat cyber threats. Finally, we'll conclude with a look into cloud based endpoint management and security solutions. So, without much further ado, let me take you all into the very first topic where we will have a brief look into today's cybersecurity landscape. So here, let me quickly throw you up a few numbers regarding the stats which has happened in the first two quarters of 2020 in the cyber world. Now, according to research from Arctic Wolf and IT Governance, there were about 117 data breaches which were noted only in the first quarter of 2020, and more than 1.5 billion records were breached. Now we see this number. This states that cyber crimes were increased by almost 600%, with the primary cause being the COVID 19 pandemic. So, what do these data tell us? It says that cybersecurity or cyber crime is increasing multifold, and that we need to take steps to ensure that our organization's network is completely secure. But where exactly do you think a cyber attack or a cybersecurity issue happens? Well, it always starts with your endpoints. What exactly do you think we term as an endpoint? Any or every device which is used by your employees to access your corporate data or corporate resources are considered endpoints. So, this may include your regular desktops, laptops, servers, point of sale devices, and corporate owned mobile devices and tablets, not to forget even your BYOD or personally owned devices. Now, if you notice, in this list, I have mentioned browsers, which is because browsers are often called the entry point of cyber attack, which means we have to take extreme precautions or stringent measures to secure our browsers equally as we secure all the other endpoints that are listed here. So now I'm sure all of you will have one question arising in all of your thoughts. Why do we even start with such facts about security issues? Or why exactly is endpoint security the need of the hour? To answer your question, this will give you a fair idea. I'm sure this is the network structure of every organization now across the globe. Owing to the global pandemic, more than 90% of the organizations have moved or shifted to a permanent remote work option. So all the employees now are working from the comfort of their homes. This may be a comfortable option for the employees, but for an IT admin, this just increases their task multifold because as your network structure expands, so does security issues. You have to make sure that there's not even a slightest gap into your network security layer. Else, your organization's security may be prone to any kind of cyber attacks. According to a research from Gartner, says that the worldwide spending on cybersecurity is going to reach about 134 billion in 2022, which is unsurprising considering the rise of cybersecurity issues. More and more IT admins are in search of proper cybersecurity tools to secure and also manage all your endpoints. Here is where they look out for a proper endpoint management and security solution. So, one fact that every IT admin or sysadmin will consider is that your endpoint management solution should perform both proactive and reactive capabilities, such as your regular application management, license management, or getting a complete details of all the hardware and software details in your network, along with security issues like securing your browsers, patch updates for vulnerabilities, all of these staying in compliance with the regulations that are imposed. So, as we see, the endpoint management tool has evolved gradually to suit to the needs of IT admins, beginning with the client management tool and moving forward to enterprise mobility management. The inclusion of mobile devices and tablets gave birth to a new term, which is an exclusive mobile device management solution. Right now, with the inclusion of modern endpoints and other endpoint devices, combining the capabilities of all these three, which is the advantage of managing legacy operating systems through client management tool, modern management through enterprise mobility management, and managing your BYOD devices through mobile device management. All these capabilities are now combined to form a new term, which is unified endpoint management. So, a UEM solution is now a 360-degree management and security solution where you can perform the capabilities of all these tools from one single central location. So this is how endpoint management tools have evolved so far. We will also have to see what made or what caused this evolution, which means we'll have to look into the trends that are being placed in endpoint management market. In recent times, one major trend is the remote work culture. According to Gartner's research, by the end of 2030, the demand for remote work will increase by at least 30%, which means Even though more and more people have now moved on to remote work culture, and a few of us have already gone back and adapted to the new normal, organizations across the globe are looking forward to having remote work as a permanent option. So, IT admins, when they have this dynamic shift to manage remote endpoints, you will definitely come across these three types of users in your network. The first types of users are those regular roaming users with a constant VPN access. Say, for example, your sales team, your on site support team. So, all of these people will be mostly on the go, which means they already have a VPN access configured and a separate set of management and security configurations for these devices. So, there won't be a major impact when these types of users shift to this remote work environment. Now, the next type here is that a majority of us, like me, all of us have been used to working completely within the organization's network. And now we'll have to suddenly shift to this remote culture, which means IT admins will have to create separate VPN access and modify existing management and security policies to suit the current environment. Now, certain organizations will also have these third types of users who do not require any VPN access, which means they can access your corporate data from cloud based tools. So, managing these types of remote endpoints can cause problems as there are few issues with the traditional VPN management. Here, emerging a zero trust network access enables enterprises to control remote access to specific applications. Now, this is a more secure option as it hides applications from the internet. This also reduces the risk of attacker piggybacking on the VPN connection to attack other applications. Now, with the remote work being in place completely, more and more organizations are now focusing on a complete cloud based environment. Cloud delivered security services are now growing increasingly popular with the evolution of remote office technology. Software as a service technology allows organizations to better protect your mobile workers and cloud applications by routing traffic through a cloud based security stack, which is backhauling the traffic so that it flows through a physical security system in a data center. Another major trend that is taking place and that is here to stay, according to Gartner's research, is the automation of security processes to eliminate repetitive tasks. The availability of automation within security tools have driven the use of more security process automation. Now, this technology automates computer centric security operation tasks based on predefined rules and templates. So, when an automatic security task is enabled, it can be performed much faster and in a scalable way with minimum errors. However, there are diminishing returns to building and maintaining automation. But now, IT admins can invest in automation projects that help to eliminate repetitive tasks that consume a lot of time. And now they can focus more time on other critical security functions. One more major trend that has been there for a couple of years and is going to be predominantly present in the near future, which is privacy. Now, I'm sure all of you will be wondering what exactly this term means. No longer just a part of a compliance or legal or auditing processes, privacy is now becoming increasingly influential, defined discipline of its own, affecting almost all the aspects of the organization. As a rapidly growing standalone discipline, privacy needs to be integrated throughout the organization, which means specifically the privacy discipline code directs the corporate strategy and as such needs to closely align with security. So this is what we've seen so far on what will be the recent trends in your cyber world. Now let us also see security issues or security challenges that have taken place in the last few months owing to the global pandemic. In March and April 2020, more than 192,000 COVID related cyber attacks were reported each week. This is a 30% increase in the number of reported cyber attacks as compared to the pre coronavirus. Businesses are at a greater risk of falling victim to cybercrime due to the large scale growth of this work from home culture, customer facing networks, and also online cloud services which are exploited by cyber criminals. According to Data Connector's research, cyber attacks can spread at 9 times the rate of COVID 19. They can also lie dormant for months while they spread. So, the research points that the threat of these cyber attacks or they term it cyber pandemics, and that such future pandemics could spread faster and further than a biological virus with an equal or greater economical impact. For example, they estimate a global loss of internet which would cost about $50 billion per day. So it is for these reasons that there are many more mandates, regulations, and compliances which are specified across the globe, which can help you not just secure your network but also ensure that the privacy of the employees are intact. So, going through such security capabilities, we have few that are listed here. One such major or popular compliance is your GDPR or General Data Protection Regulation. The GDPR has successfully passed its second year mark, and with that, the European Commission has issued its first evaluation report highlighting the progress made, challenges encountered, and objectives for moving forward. Additionally, the GDPR has also proved itself to be a flexible regulation in support of digital solutions during this COVID 19 pandemic. Now, these days, when a substantial portion of the workforce are being asked to work from home, the requirement for robust data privacy and protection is needed now more than ever. Don't you agree? So, the GDPR offers guidance, support, and standards as the world follows its new routine into the COVID 19 pandemic. Another act which mirrors GDPR is the POPI Act. The Protection of Personal Information Act puts South Africa's data regulation standards on par with the existing data protection laws around the world. The POPI Act is considered to mirror GDPR compliance requirements. Few other compliance which are specified like the NIST, HIPAA compliance, CIS and VPAT compliance. So if you take NIST compliance for example, it sets important guidelines that aims to ensure the safety and confidentiality of sensitive federal data. When it comes to HIPAA compliance, this is mainly for the healthcare sector. So, HIPAA privacy regulations require healthcare providers, organizations, and also their business associates to develop and follow procedures that ensure confidentiality and security of protected health information when the data is transferred, received, handled, or shared. So, any and every organization should comply with all these mandates which are specified to ensure a proper security layer along with ensuring the privacy of your employees. Now, moving on, let us see how we have to adapt to this new normal, which I've said in the very beginning is that half of us are still working from home and the other half have migrated back to your offices. So, for an IT admin, you need to ensure that all of these users and devices are completely secure. For that, the very first step is that you need to monitor any kind of security loopholes. Because according to a research from the University of Maryland, hackers attack every 39 seconds, which means on an average 2,200 times a day. So it is up to us to spot any security loopholes which will be there before it's too late. So, here on my list, I have a few pointers where you can easily detect and spot any issues, security issues in your IT network. Let us take a quick look into each of them. The very first thing on my list is the access to corporate resources. Now, I'm sure with the dynamic shift to remote environment, more and more people are granted with VPN access at the network level. Now, say for an example, an endpoint with a network level VPN access is compromised, then this endpoint is a conduit to the environment. So, this endpoint may be the tiny security crack that you might have missed to secure your network. Also, providing access to your resources. See, for example, your employees who have access or root credentials or unauthorized access to your corporate data. Such access without proper control can lead to security issues. Next, which brings about a major concern, is the security of BYOD devices. About 60% of the organizations allow employee owned devices to access their networks. With more and more remote work culture being implemented, close to 90% of the users are comfortable using their very own personal device to perform their corporate tasks simultaneously. Now, when such a BYOD device is in place, this may access to any unencrypted personal and corporate data. So an IT admin's task lies in protecting and securing not just your corporate owned device, but any personally owned device which is going to access your network data. Again, in the case of a misplaced or stolen device comes into picture, if the data is not completely wiped out or erased, this may fall into wrong hands and cause serious security issues to your IT network. Moving on, another concern or a security threat which might arise is due to your applications management. So, when you have applications which are installed from untrusted resources, this may raise a few concerns because in an organization's network, it is always the job of an IT administrator to evaluate and whitelist applications and allow them to install these into the organization's devices. So, when random installations from the employees and take place, the applications may tend to be malicious. Also, when end users try to use prohibited applications or blacklisted applications or install any malicious executables, These may pose not just security but also misconfigure any functionalities in your endpoints. This is another concern which is closely related to what we saw with regarding to VPN access. This is managing the privileges which are granted to your end users. Now, say your end users or your employees in your network can install any type of browser extensions or any browser add ons, which may pose threat to your network security. Because after all, we did see that browsers might be the entry point for almost three-fourths of the cyber attacks that take place in the globe. Also, installing applications by the end user or enabling default administrator credentials or root credentials to your end users. When unrequired privileges are granted to end users, there may be a point where knowingly or unknowingly these privileges might be misused and cause damages to your security layer. Then, with a more primary focus on your browsers, which involves downloads from untrusted websites or installation from any malicious attachments, these may cause risks or any type of other issues or cyber attacks, cyber threats, which may lurk in your network. Another point is the inclusion of storage devices such as USBs. So you will have to ensure that your endpoint is secure from any foreign storage devices, or it might pose a security threat to your network. One final issue which lies in the hands of an IT admin. So, a task of an IT admin, I'm sure, involves your regular patch management, updating your applications, getting a complete detail of your IT asset management, and remotely troubleshooting devices. So, neglecting or not completely prioritizing the vulnerabilities present in your network or delaying the OS updates or zero-day exploits which are present may cause serious issues to your IT network security. So it is up to us as IT admins to ensure that these security loopholes are detected and completely eliminated. So here is how you can fortify your IT admin, which is by using a single solution. I'm sure you all know what I mean. When you have a holistic UEM solution in place, you can rest assured that the entire network security and management is done from one single console. According to Gartner's research, a fact says that by the end of 2020, security services are expected to account for 50% of cybersecurity budgets. So you need to ensure that when you move out for a security tool, it performs all your regular management capabilities along with the detection of any security threats or security loopholes in your network. We at ManageEngine are proud to say that one such UEM tool exists from our security suite, which is ManageEngine Desktop Central. Desktop Central is a complete 360-degree endpoint management solution which involves all the capabilities right from deploying your basic operating system to performing your day to day endpoint management activities, be it your patch deployment, applications management, or having a remote troubleshooting solution. Along with these, you also have specific or customized mobile device management capabilities like device management, app management, content management, and security management. To also manage modern endpoints, you have capabilities like geo tracking, corporate or complete wipe, and putting the device in kiosk mode. So, now let me quickly show how you can create a secure remote setup with the capabilities that are offered in ManageEngine Desktop Central. Here again, I have few pointers which we can quickly walk through. The very first step is minimizing your attack surface. So, as we saw, that a VPN access might create certain problems. It is always wise to create a zero trust policy for all your endpoints. Another step is to eliminate any application related issues by eliminating or blacklisting malicious applications. A third most important step is to keep a lookout for any vulnerabilities which are present in your network. A special capability in Desktop Central is called Vulnerability Management, which constantly looks out for any type of vulnerabilities present in your network, be it a delayed patch update or any software installation update or even any type of security misconfigurations. So, based on the stats provided, you just have to perform the task which is present and eliminate all these vulnerabilities from your network. Next, we saw a list of issues when it comes to handling BYOD devices. Not to worry, simple list of tasks can provide or strengthen the security of your BYOD devices. First and foremost is enabling or creating security policies for mobile devices and BYOD devices to lock down the device when there is a usage of specific applications. Also, to ensure additional security to your corporate data, you can secure the access to your corporate documents. The third step involves data security on lost or misplaced devices. Capabilities like corporate or complete wipe, as we saw earlier, can wipe any data which is present on jailbroken or lost devices of your employees. This way, you can secure your corporate data, ensuring that the privacy of your employees' files are still intact. Next, the concern over applications management will be eliminated with these simple steps. So, usually, it's the IT admin, as we said, who detects or determines whether an application is good to go or to be present in the network, or if the application can be termed malicious and blacklisted from the network. So the IT admin will have the very first task of categorizing your applications to see whether it's blacklisted, whitelisted, or graylisted. Now, to deploy these applications, as IT admins, you have an option to ensure a one click step that all your enterprise approved applications will reach your corporate endpoints. Also, even if your end user chooses to or wishes to install a particular application on their own, they will have to resort back to you and seek your permission to approve applications. When such a move is made, you can have a complete overview on what kind of applications are present in the network. Also, automatically, you will have to create rules to uninstall or terminate any blacklisted or malicious applications. As IT admins, you also have to create rules to manage privileges related to applications. Next step will be to conduct a regular cyber hygiene measures. This will be primarily regarding your browsers. So, when you have a browser management feature in place, a simple solution is to create policies for your browsers where you can apply web filter or lock down the browser to trusted applications. When it comes to extensions or add ons, you can detect and remove harmful add ons and even distribute enterprise approved extensions. The final step is to stay on top of critical vulnerabilities. I'm sure this is the dream of every IT admin. Well, it's quite possible. So, when you have a proper vulnerability management solution in place, you can detect your vulnerabilities, as I said, and immediately mitigate any such vulnerabilities. When a 0-day patch or a critical patch is deployed or released, you will have to ensure that these patches do reach all the endpoints in your network without any delay, where you should also be able to automate such patch deployment process. Again, to update your applications to stay on par with the latest version, you should be able to publish your software updates to make sure that your end users can directly update and install such software updates. Another usual desktop management capability is updating your security policies or security configurations. ManageEngine Desktop Central provides 30 plus configurations where you can use to totally manage and secure all your endpoints at ease. Now, these type of security policies include imposing stringent password policies, strengthening your firewall security, and also policies for restricting access to your storage devices like USB. So you can create policies to either block or add only certain trusted USB or storage devices to your endpoints. Now, this is with respect to security. But as every IT admin do know, that security is not just the only concern that you will be having. IT management is an equally important capability. So, IT management technically involves around remote troubleshooting capabilities and monitoring your endpoints, be it your employees' activities or your general updates of your endpoints. Let us also quickly see how this can be done using ManageEngine Desktop Central. So, when you have a holistic UEM solution in place, the very first point in troubleshooting any end user's devices is to gain unattended remote access. We are proud to say that with a single click, you can ensure or directly access your target user's device. Another major advantage is to transfer files dynamically during a live session to troubleshoot their devices. An additional option is to collaborate with other technicians and record the remote sessions for auditing purposes. Capabilities like remotely locking the laptops, blackening the monitor during the remote session, and wake on LAN capabilities ensure that remote troubleshooting process is totally simplified. Next, when it comes to monitoring capabilities, so monitoring your end users' activities involves the very first step, which is getting the complete hardware and software visibility of all the endpoints in your network. So using the reports from Desktop Central, you can see the overall storage devices that are injected, any and every hardware and software details, user logon reports, and power management reports to see when and how the users have logged on and logged off. Also, to monitor the user's productivity, you can make use of the applications usage or application metering capabilities, which means during your business hours, if at all your employees tend to use other applications, non business applications, you can choose to monitor such applications and also blacklist these applications from certain endpoints or throughout the network. See, for example, your employee in the organization has uTorrent in your network and tries to download movie files instead of performing your regular day to day activities. So, such, even though they do not pose major security concern, they hinder the productivity of your employees. So, such actions can be taken against these applications and blacklist them from your network. So, this is what we've seen so far about IT management and IT security. We've seen that to completely manage and secure your network devices, an endpoint management tool such as a UEM solution is required. So, such UEM solution involves or encompasses the capabilities of your traditional client management tool, your enterprise mobility management, modern management capabilities, and mobile device management capabilities. So we have arrived at a point where we know for sure that we need to opt for a UEM solution. But what do you think holds the future for a UEM solution? As we discussed in the recent trends, more and more organizations are looking forward to a complete cloud based solution, which is why we at ManageEngine 2 are offering you ManageEngine's UEM solution, which is Desktop Central, is now available on cloud as well. You can access the below given link, sign up with your details, and with one single click, ensure that you have a complete visibility of all the capabilities in the product for a 30-day free trial version. Let me quickly navigate to the page. So it is manageengine.com/products/desktop central slash free trial.html. Now, this page will give you the complete details of Desktop Central Cloud capabilities, the supported operating system details, and also the architecture and the integral guide to getting it started. So, your simple step is to provide your credentials and immediately click on the sign up button to ensure that you have the free trial edition created. So, this is how a desktop central cloud version looks like. You will have complete patch management capabilities where you can detect any missing patches, ensure that all your systems are regularly patched, and also create automated policies for patch deployment. Similarly, with respect to applications management, you can deploy applications using predefined templates that are available in Desktop Central. So, with one single click, you can create application packages and deploy it to all your target computers. The inventory module provides you, as I said, a holistic view of all the hardware and software details in your network. Similarly, capabilities like mobile device management, remote control, and configurations provide you all the capabilities of endpoint management and security. So, you may all ask as to what is a major advantage when you move on to a cloud based UEM solution. Well, first and foremost, it reduces the cost that you invest in a physical infrastructure. It also bypasses the need for additional security components. Say, when you host an on premise UEM solution, you will have to opt for a secondary server in case your primary server goes down, or post additional security components to secure your primary server. Now, such needs are eliminated when you host your desktop central instance on cloud. The data centers for Desktop Central Cloud are located in four major regions. In case you're already trying out Desktop Central on premise or you're a customer of Desktop Central on premise, then be assured that migrating all of your data from Desktop Central on premise to cloud is going to be just few simple steps. According to cybersecurity ventures, research says that cybercrime is projected to hit $6 trillion annually by 2021, which means IT admins are now moving forward to solutions like Desktop Central Cloud, which can perform both your security and management capabilities at ease. Because all IT admins know that security and management are like two eyes for your IT admin. Both of these are interlinked and has to be constantly balanced to manage or completely fortify your IT network. So let me come to a conclusion and end by saying that endpoint management and security is an everyday battle. But the true question arises when you say, how exactly prepared is your organization for the new normal? Thank you all once again for joining us in this webinar session. As always, you can keep your questions coming our way. We are opening the floors. You can post your questions in the questions box or in the chat box. I will be very happy to take up and answer your queries. You can also reach out to me via email at nisha.p@manageengine.com. Thank you all once again for joining us in this webinar session. In case you have any questions regarding the presentation or regarding the products mentioned, you can always reach out to us on chat or through the question section. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your queries. We have one question here. So, how is it compared with on premise version in terms of features? Desktop Central on premise and Desktop Central Cloud are pretty much identical when it comes to the features section. As of now, Desktop Central Cloud does not support patch management and software deployment capabilities for Linux computers. For more detailed information about the comparison of Desktop Central on premise and cloud, you can visit the below mentioned URL where you get the complete edition comparison matrix details. Hi Rashmi, you can always reach out to me through nisha.b@manageengine.com. It's nisha.b at manageengine.com. We have another question. What would be the ideal action plan to mitigate any critical vulnerability? So, as such, the very first step is to keep your patches updated with the regular patch deployment process. So, you can automate this process using the automatic patch deployment feature, which is available in both Desktop Central on premise and on cloud. Then, keeping a complete lookout for vulnerabilities using the vulnerability management capability, you can ensure that any vulnerability, if at all, is present in your network, will automatically be detected. So, you will just have to prioritize and issue the fixes that are available. So I think you have a question regarding the sign up details of Desktop Central Cloud. In case you already are using any other Manage Engine products, do reach out to our support where we will be providing you a separate set of access.